Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. As today, we go ahead and give a listen to Pierre Henry. We're going to listen to this piece of music, this track, La Reine, Verte, La Marche du Jeune Homme, / La Reine et les Insectes. Or, if we translate that, the Green Queen, the Walk of the Young Man, / the Queen and the Insects. Interesting title. Absolutely an interesting title. This is coming off the album Mass for the Present Time, which from what I could tell was released in 1967, 68, somewhere right around there. I'm thinking it's 67. It was a little difficult finding some of the information here, but I did pull up a few links to see if we could parse out some of the info here. We're listening to this because it was suggested and sponsored by Sylvain. Sylvain, thank you so much for the recommendation. Thank you for the support as well. I've never heard of Mr. Pierre Henry, but let us go ahead and dive in. Give ourselves a listen, give ourselves a taste, and we'll find out what he's all about. Pulling it up right now, and it should start playing here. Is it playing? Is that supposed to be silent? I don't know if this is supposed to be quiet or if it's actually working. Hold on. Let me play something else just to make sure. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Hold on. Let me try this. Let's see if this works. There it is. Okay. Sorry, that was me. It's a fast snare roll. Sounds like a traffic jam in Insect Central. Are we just switching radio stations? Like, I think this almost theremin sound. The drumming sounds really cool. It's very ominous. I like how that's gotten more distant, given an echo as well. It's given more space. It's like being abducted by aliens and like you're floating at the levitation rate. There's the insects. It's like little electronic ants walking. That kind of reminded me of like Tangerine Dream. Like that's something like I feel like they would do. It's like some sort of freaky carousel. I have multiple feelings about this piece. So the first feeling I get, obviously, when we're listening to this type of music is, what's the purpose? What's behind it? I'm looking at the album cover art, and it looks like there's some sort of perhaps interpretive dance or something, a stage show of something perhaps behind this. Have to look into that. Second thing, obviously, this is nothing traditional, so we got to look at it from a completely different point of view, right? This isn't something you're going to put on bumping your car speakers or, anything like that. This has a different purpose. The beginning of this, man, this goes through a lot of different scenes. The beginning of this, I thought was immediately interesting. With that, I mean, it sounds like a vocal that's just processed to almost theremin-like pitch, but it could be either or. And with that, with the drumming that happens behind it, curious. It's a kind of a cool combination. And then it starts immediately switching scenes. It starts immediately taking that remote and changing the channels. I didn't care for that part because I would like to focus a little bit on one particular aspect. And so when those drums and that theremin-like vocal sound came in, I'm focused on that. I think that was kind of cool. I wanted to see how that built up. And then it starts kind of changing channels. And I'm like, okay, I don't like such quick changes because it's like nothing's getting established. You're just taking snippets of things and just throwing them at the dartboard. But then it finally did kind of calm down, much to my happiness. It calmed down and gave us little longer vignettes. It gave us longer scenes to kind of focus on. And then it would still change scene, but it wasn't as abrupt. It wasn't as brash when that happened. And we do go through a lot of different phases here. So if I pull up the beginning again, that drum is very rough. Okay, so like this theremin-esque vocal soprano that's being sung here, this is kind of cool. I like the atmosphere that's being built. It's very cosmic, outer space, haunting in its own way. I think that's cool, and I would have liked to see that built up into something more. We didn't quite go in that direction, but that's okay. Let's continue on. Right? So here you can still get that cosmic depth. It feels like being just absolutely lost in space, untethered, and just floating out there into the abyss, in my opinion. Then we do finally get to a little further on. Like, this is kind of a cool atmosphere. Kind of tense. Kind of haunting. Here you go. This is where I feel that insect part coming in. Because from here on, it almost sounds like little electronic ants just kind of swarming in their nest. Like, when you have that ant farm and you're looking at them in the through the glass pane, you can see all their tunnels and all the different parts of the colony and such. It kind of reminds me of that. It's just these little ants are scattering in there and you're just watching them or observing them as they, walk back and forth doing their work. That's what all of this sounded like. Keeping in mind that the title of this is The Green Queen, The Walk of the Young Man / The Queen and the Insect. So this is what I would assume very much is that insect part. And then this just kind of expands it to itself. So I like how at least there weren't any quick changes so much. It kind of grew from there. And then even here when it kind of softened up, like it's still playing that specific kind of tone and that kind of sequence, basically. So I like how this wasn't as brash or, for me, it's experimental, but it's not like, there's another word I'm thinking of. It's not like annoying. It's not like, it doesn't turn you off completely. It's just like, okay, I hear it. I see it. What's behind it? What's the reason? Let's see if we can figure that out. Like I said, I couldn't find a ton of information when I was, Googling, and perhaps my Google foo is just not that great. Right here I have up the album page, which I have translated from French to English. It says, so for the album, Mass for the Present Time is a suite of dances composed by Pierre Henry and Michael Colombier. Let's see, for his choreographic creation at the 1967 Avignon Festival. Okay, so perhaps we can find some live performance of this ballet. Because obviously, if we can get the dance behind the music, then that might make a little more sense in what's going on. Let's see. The piece was a success from a musical, choreographic, and commercial point of view. Pierre Henry achieved success with a wider audience than the limited circle of music concrete. Let's see. The most famous track from this album, Psych Rock, which has been featured in numerous films. Okay, that's nice. Psych Rock was also parodied for the opening credits of the TV series Futurama. Let me get a little of that. I'm going to skip in it. I can hear it. Oh, the bells. Okay, you can definitely hear it in there. I got you. Okay, let's see if we can find some live performance of this. Give me a moment to give this a Google. Give this a YouTube search, I should say. Might take me a second to pull this one off. Give me a second. It's a long title. I'm copying and pasting. Don't worry, I'm copying and pasting. Let's see. Reine, Verte. Hopefully I said that correctly. All right, I got the page up. That's the music. Is there any dance behind it? I'm getting nothing but this is all I'm getting. I'm trying to find the actual dance behind it, but we're not going to get that, it seems, are we? Because that would help if we can. Oh, there I am. Okay, that would help if I can get that, but perhaps not. Slightly disappointing. I was hoping we could perhaps find a little bit of that ballet or something like that. Let me pull you guys up here. You can look at this other thing. The 1960s were a period of profound transformation across Europe. A post-war generation was questioning inherited structures, demanding greater freedom. All right, I want to know more about this particular piece. Meeting of the two. This is about them coming together. All right. Can we get any information on this particular track? Unique approach. The album unfolds as a rich soundscape shaped from carefully recorded noises. Henry was fascinated by the world around him, using its sounds as raw material to fashion something new. Like a sculptor shaping stone or a pop artist elevating the mundane, he transformed everyday noises into expressive musical forms. Each listener may hear or feel something different. And I know a lot of people absolutely abhor this type of music and this type of sound and experimentation. And this is never something that I'm ever going to put on. If I'm honestly, it's never something I'm going to put on pleasurably. And, after I listen to it here, I'm probably never going to listen to it again in this particular sense. But I do think it's important to understand this type of experimentation and, this kind of creativity. Wow. Instead of for lack of a better word, looking at music from a more conventional point of view, why not take the sounds and the things around you and let's do something with that. And it maybe not turn into something that's so obviously conventional and sampling and stuff like that, but doing something different with it. I think that's absolutely worth looking into. I just want to know more about behind this. I was trying to find some more about this particular track, but can't quite find it. Interesting, that one track with the psych rock though, because it really does sound like just a very muchly experimental and muddled version of a psych track. I do see some the ballet here. The choreographer envisioned a ballet that would encapsulate the spirit of its era, a total spectacle, as he would call it, involving dance, theater, recitations, and music. The piece moved through different styles and influences, drawing on Indian and traditional Japanese music and mysticism as much as electronic sounds. Dancers appeared on stage in jeans and trainers, shifting between classical vocabulary and popular dances such as the jerk, and so on and so forth, which is kind of interesting. Like I said, I think it's interesting to look at sound from this particular point of view, because I, as I've always mentioned, I love music, obviously, but I like just sound. I like anything. That's why genres I'm open to very, very much. Let me know what you guys thought of it, of course, in the comments down below. I appreciate you all watching so much. Sylvain, thank you so much as well for the recommendation and for the support. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, guys.